I'm finally remembering this before everybody leaves. There's an app that I really like to recommend, having to do anything with color and values. And it's an app you can put on your phone or your tablet. It's called I Love Hue, H-U-E. I Love Hue, it's called. And it's just a game that you can play, but it's organizing colors in this squared off pattern of little squares of color, like swatches. And you have to put the colors where they go from, like, they'll give you certain colors in the pattern that cannot be moved. And it will usually go from like a blue green down here to like a yellow orange up here, and all the different colors in between that merge those two and the different values. And it's not specifically about value and temperature, but it's pretty close. It's similar. It's more about value and hue, basically. Different hues, different colors, and they merge together. And you have to place the rest of the scrambled little swatches into where they go. And it's a great brain game for recognizing how light or how dark something is compared to something else. But I highly recommend that game. And I recommend playing it for a while before you then go and resort your palette, resort your box by value and temperature. Because once you do this, then you'll be able to see values much better, and temperatures. Like I can see right away this bluish violet should go up here. And this green is a little cool. But values are kind of hard to get used to. But once you've got a grasp of values, you don't lose it. It's there. So it just takes some practice.
Could you show us again, like you just did, what your palette is?
Yeah. Let me just hold it up here. This is my travel box. And it's a Heilman backpack box. And I have it arranged by value and temperature. I like my warms close to me and my cools at the top. Everything in between is purples and greens, because the purples and greens are in between the warmest and the coolest. So I don't organize by color specifically. Color is completely immaterial. It's how warm is it and how cool is it. So blues, of course, blue is the coolest color. So the blues are all across the top. Now it's a little bit mixed up. It's a little bit unorganized slightly right now. And it never has to be really perfect. It's really hard to get this perfect. Plus, a tip for you. If you get a box like this and you fill it with pastels, don't stuff it tightly. Don't put every piece of pastel in there perfectly next to each other in rows, because then when you start using some, you'll never get them back in. You always want a little bit of wiggle room so that they can move around a little bit. But yeah, it took me like 3 or 4 days. 2007, I took a workshop at IOPS with Maggie Price, and I took a picture of her box. She had the same size box, and I bought one. I bought a Heilman box after that, and I filled it. I based it on the picture of hers, and it took me several days. I had all my pastels laid out in the kitchen on paper towels. And so it's tough when you start, but the more you work at it, the easier it gets. And then once you have them all in here by value and temperature, you can immediately tell when something is out of place. Like this green is a little dark, probably should go over here. You know, this red and green, this green is cooler than that red. Well, everything's kind of rolling downwards, but you know, you can see right away if something's off. This is a little darker than that, should go over here. So I highly recommend it. Highly recommend it. And that little app, that I Love Hue app, will help your brain start to recognize colors and values, and temperatures.
Carmen says she has the exact box, but she has it by color, and yours makes much more sense to her.
Yeah. For the first couple of months, I had to really get used to having my palette laid out like this, because before that I just had all my pastels in their boxes that they came in. So I had my Unison box, and I had my new pastels, and I had my Rembrandts, and I had my whatever colors that, brands that I had back then. And I had certain favorite Unisons, and I knew where they were. But when I put them all together in here, then I didn't know where. I'd be like, where's that Unison blue that I like so much, And so it took me a while to get used to it, but I've never looked back. I have to have my colors this way in order to paint properly. To my brain. Plus,
What is the name of it again? The box?
The box is Heilman, Heilman. But there are other ones. The Dakota has a really good pastel box also, and maybe a couple other brands. But to my mind, I think the Heilman is the best one. I have two of them. And I just love them. It's built like a piece of Amish furniture. It's like really well made, and when it's closed up has like padded toppers. These go on the top. Put them on, and you close it up, and you can close the box. You can like throw that thing. You could probably run over it with the car, and everything would still be fine. I haven't tried that. I wouldn't try that, but it's really tough, and it's really well made. I just love it.
Carmen says she just wishes that it wasn't so heavy, but it really does protect them.
Oh yeah, and you know what? Really, I've found that it's the pastels. Strangely enough, it's the pastels. It's like half the weight. I don't know why. Maybe because they're made up of like ground up solid pigment particles, like dirt. Like rocks and dirt. But if you carry a box of one of these boxes around empty, it's not nearly as heavy as it is when it's full. It's very strange, but yeah, it kind of has to be heavy in order to be strong and last a long time. All my plein air bags, they all roll anyway, so I don't have to worry about carrying it on my back.